Unlike most sea turtles, green sea turtles are strictly herbivorous. They feed almost exclusively on algae and seagrasses. That being said, as juveniles, some of the green sea turtles will eat small worms and mollusks to help supplement the diet. So as you're watching the video, take note that there are two different types of predominant seagrasses. One looks almost barren, like sand, with a little bit of grass peeking through. That's actually the native seagrass in the area. Most of the fish and mollusks and invertebrates in the area prefer to feed on this grass. The green sea turtles as well prefer to feed on this native seagrass. The other type of grass looks very thick and dense, almost like a small forest under the water. That lusher, denser seagrass is actually a non-native and invasive seagrass. It's not from the area. It's been transported in and it's started to take over. If you watch closely in the video, you'll see that the sea turtles actually swim near the grass and they swim over it. Sometimes they'll even lay it in it, but they don't actually eat that grass. They prefer to eat the native seagrass. So you'll see them kind of swim over it and swim down to the barren sandy area, and they'll pick out the native seagrasses and eat those. Unfortunately, the invasive seagrass is just taking over most of the bays in St. Thomas and St. John. Its growth has just been explosive in the last couple of years that I've been down there. It's at least doubled in surface area from what I've seen in the bays I've visited. It's just completely out-competing the native seagrass, which obviously leads to conservation issues for the turtles and lots of fish in the area as well. And notice that the green sea turtle that we're watching in this video is eating that sparse native seagrass. He's not venturing into the invasive seagrass and feeding there. He's pretty much sticking in the sandy areas and picking out leaves of the native seagrass. Although there has been documentation of green sea turtles eating some of the invasive seagrass, it's less common, and they prefer, as you can tell in these videos, to eat the native seagrass instead. In this area of St. Thomas, it's not uncommon to see multiple sea turtles foraging and feeding together. These shallower waters are a lot warmer than the deeper ocean. They come in here to avoid predators like larger sharks that can eat them, and to help them thermoregulate. As you can see, our friend right here is missing a flipper, most likely from a shark attack that he experienced himself. So when they sleep at night, they can actually hold their breath for several hours. But that's because they've reduced their heart rate and their metabolic rate, so their oxygen consumption is much lower. When they're active during the day, when they're foraging for food or trying to avoid predators swimming around, their oxygen consumption increases because their metabolic rate is higher. Therefore, they'll come to the surface every 4 or 5 minutes and take a breath. It's always fun to watch them swim up, take a couple breaths, and swim back down. Provides some good video. So this is actually a really cool shot. If you look closely at the plastron, which is the bottom surface of the turtle's shell, you'll see two remoras attached. Remoras are basically hitchhikers. They are fish that attach themselves to other animals such as turtles, sharks, dolphins, whales, sometimes even other divers. And they hitch a ride. When they get to where they're going, they let go and swim away. They really cause no harm other than maybe increasing drag a little bit. It's very unfortunate, but the largest threat that exists to green sea turtles and other sea turtles in general is from us as humans. This comes from habitat loss, from building on nesting sites, poaching of eggs, poaching of adults and individuals, using nets that entrap and catch them, and littering and trashing up the ocean. It's really our responsibility to protect these beautiful creatures so that our kids and grandkids can enjoy them as well.